everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out. And definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. So as I make today's video, I'm literally a little over 2 weeks away from my freedom. I'm so close to filing for divorce now. And because of that, I've really become introspective. I've been thinking a lot about things I wish that I had known earlier in my entanglement, things that could have made such a difference. I have grown so much since I've been separated from my ex, and I've been separated for 2 years. So what I want to do in today's video is share some of the things that I learned later, things that I wish I had known earlier. My hope is that somebody who's earlier in their entanglement, or maybe somebody who's with somebody and not even married yet, can learn these truths and make a difference in their life earlier than I did. Don't learn the hard way if you don't have to. So these are some things I wish I knew at the beginning of my entanglement. The first one that I'm going to talk about is stand up for yourself. That's one of my biggest regrets, is letting my entire family walk all over me. So it wasn't just my ex, it was my family as well. Time and again. To a large degree, you really do teach people how to treat you. Recently, I came across some profound insights from Carl Jung on the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The first is that the golden rule doesn't say anything about being nice. Doing what is right and what is nice can be the same thing, but it doesn't have to be. Secondly, the golden rule is an equation rather than a command. Correct equations balance, and the golden rule is a two-way street. Treating others well but neglecting yourself is a recipe for resentment and suffering. The second thing I'm going to talk about is don't enslave yourself. You enslave yourself when you have no self-respect, when you have no power in the relationship, when you agree so as not to upset the other person, when you walk on eggshells so you don't state your opinions, you disappear. Then you have no confidence and you believe you're stuck. That's a lie. It's a lie. We all tell ourselves. It's as effective as locking ourselves in a prison of our own making. Do not underestimate the power of truth. A narcissist wants you to enslave yourself to them. That's what's in their best interest, not yours. If you go through life believing you have no power, no ability to live the life that you want, you are a slave. And people who own other people are not good people. Do not willingly go to slaughter. I'm telling you. Once you begin to believe in yourself, doors open. Don't hide from the truth because it's scary. There's nothing more powerful. However, you have to be willing to live with the consequences of seeing the truth. You might have to pay a price. You might have to let go of the outcome. For those of you that believe in God, think about the Israelites. They were slaves in Egypt, slaves. They were freed and they couldn't stop complaining to Moses. We had food in Egypt. We had a warm bed in Egypt. They thought slavery was better because of some comforts. The Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years because it was harder to get the Egypt out of the Israelites than to get the Israelites out of Egypt. Only 2 of the original roughly 600,000 slaves who left Egypt made it to the promised land. Life isn't safe, but freedom is priceless. I know there are so many of you who think to yourself, well, I can't get out. I really am stuck. I have this circumstance or that circumstance. It isn't true. I'm not saying that you don't have extenuating circumstances or you don't have circumstances that make it difficult, but all of us, every single one of us has the ability to get out. I am no different than you. I used to think that. When I first started learning about narcissism, I would see these people who got out and I would think, well, they got out because of whatever reason, but I couldn't get out. Like, I am stuck. I'm different. It's not true. If I can get out, anybody can get out. When I kicked my ex out, I literally had nothing. I didn't have any money. I didn't know what I was going to do to pay my bills. I was scared to death. Today, 2 years later, I am so close to being done with this demon permanently. Truly, if I can do it, so can you. It might not be as easy as leaving today, but if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything that you want. I'm not telling you I think this is true. I know it's true. Next one I'm going to talk about is stop talking to people who aren't listening to you. Watch them and they'll tell you exactly what they're up to. Pull back because you devalue yourself by talking to somebody who does nothing but reject it. Now, this partly is the silent treatment, so I'll talk about that for a minute, but not exclusively. One thing I learned about the silent treatment, the most important thing I learned about the silent treatment, the best response to a silent treatment the very first time you're given one is make it permanent. Somebody who gives you the silent treatment, and realize a silent treatment is not somebody who is blowing off steam and says to you, I can't talk about this right now. I want to go for a walk. I need a day, whatever. That's not the silent treatment. The silent treatment is when somebody literally is like a brick wall. You're trying to speak to them, you're crying, you're begging them, whatever it is, and they will completely ignore you. They're telling you exactly how they feel about you. A silent treatment is not silent at all. It's very loud and it never gets better. It gets worse. My ex, when I first noticed a silent treatment with my ex, he was giving other people a silent treatment. He was giving some friends of his a silent treatment, and I believed naively at the time, well, he'll never do that to me. This is before we were married. I thought, he'll never do this to me. Then he did it to me over and over and over. Towards the end of our entanglement, it was near constant. So first it was friends, and I thought, he'll never do it to me. Then he did it to me, and I thought to myself, well, he'll never do that to our children. Never. Nope, now he does it to our children. He has given my children. Now, he gave me a silent treatment once for 7 months. I've mentioned this in my video before. And I know that sounds shocking. 7 months, wow. He's given my children a silent treatment now for double that time. And there's no end in sight. This could be permanent, I don't know. But this is what they do. So if someone gives you a silent treatment, do not put up with it ever. Do not make excuses for them. They haven't had a bad day. They know what they're doing. This is the type of things that we do. We give them excuses. Do not give anybody an excuse like that. But it's not just the silent treatment. If you're talking to somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you have a concern, if you want to talk about something, the other person should give you that courtesy. I can't imagine not doing that. But my ex did it all the time. There would be times I would be talking to him about something important and he would fall asleep. That is completely unacceptable. Do not put up with that ever. That really tells you something. Do not let somebody disrespect you. You are worth more than that. And that brings me to the fourth thing I want to discuss. Know your worth, and crucially, know your partner's worth. So much for me changed when I was delivered from codependence. It was like I had blinders on. Or a friend of mine has this great story. He relates this story from from a religious standpoint. He's talking about how so many times we try to make decisions on things, but really we're looking at a situation almost like we're looking through a straw. So imagine you're looking through a straw and you just see this tiny bit of the situation, but God sees the entire situation. So when you are in a codependent relationship and you are fully codependent, you're looking at your life through this straw. So you're not seeing everything. Once you are no longer codependent, the entire world opens up. That straw is gone and you can see the full reality. And that happened to me. And that was actually, once I saw the full reality, that was the final nail in the coffin of my relationship. I saw my ex for who he really was. I mean, here was a man who ruined his family financially. He was a liar and he knew it. He used to make these weird statements to the kids. He would say to the kids in this mocking way, "Oh, mommy hates liars." It was just this weird thing that he said. And that's something that narcissists do. They kind of put out there the way that they are. They put it on other people. It was almost like, "Oh, mommy hates liars." Like there was something wrong with me because I didn't want to be lied to. He was a horrible father and husband. He literally had no good points. He was a complete failure. And I saw this. He blew every opportunity and all his potential. He put in the minimum at work. He came home, got wasted, and did it again. So he was constantly passed over for promotions. Right now, he should be much higher at work than he is, but he lingers where he is. I've watched everybody else pass him, and he gets bitter about it, but he doesn't equate it to himself. I mean, a narcissist has no introspection. So for him, it's, well, people are being mean to him or there's some other reason. It's never their fault. This person has no interests other than sports, no hobbies. I would always want to do things. I would always ask him to do things. He never wanted to do anything. Even when it was election time, he would say to me, "Who are we voting for?" I mean, he couldn't even give a thought to that. It was literally nothing. This person never read a book. He put no effort into looking nice for me. He had no ambition. Crucially, though, on top of that, I began to see my own worth and they didn't match. I was invisible in so many ways to him. And the same thing, my in-laws, even my own parents, gave me no consideration. I had no value to anybody. And it used to blow my mind because once that straw was in the trash and I could see the full picture, I couldn't believe what my life had turned into. It was like this huge shock. Pay attention to these things. The way that not just your ex or your current husband or wife, whoever it is, treat you, but everybody surrounding you. Because when you are in a narcissistic family, usually the person that you're with who's a narcissist isn't the only one. I was surrounded by them and I had a role. Everybody in these families have a role. My role was to be the doormat. Now, I'm talking about my own parents. I told them some things that had happened in my relationship. They knew my ex was outside the house with a gun. They knew he was at a mental hospital. They knew he was abusive, that he was ignoring me. They knew he had put my family into severe debt. They knew all these things. Now, I also have a daughter. If this was my daughter, there would be no way in hell that I would encourage her to be back with this person. My own parents actually believe today, right now, that I should be living with my ex. My mother said to me, "Well, can't he just live in the basement?" I mean, this is how my own family thinks about me. My ex's family, my in-laws, my ex-in-laws, whoever they are, they have never once, ever, now they know these things too, they've never called me. "How are you? Are you okay? Can we help you with anything? Are the kids okay?" Never. I get nothing from that. So today, I don't believe I owe anybody else anything at all. You need to know your worth and act accordingly. If other people don't believe you have value, that's their problem. The reality in life is that you need to be aware of your own value. Now, the next one that I'm going to talk about is an elaboration on the previous one, know your worth. Pay attention to bettering yourself. That's an act of self-love. When I was codependent, I put my ex first, and I spent all my time trying to fix him, better him. I neglected myself totally. So I don't mean physically, but my growth and development, my emotional health. In many ways, narcissists are like infants. When you have an infant, they require 24-hour care. Their life depends on you taking care of their needs. As the child gets older, they become more independent. Narcissists also require constant care, typically from several sources, but there's never an independent stage. It's a full-time job taking care of a narcissist, and it never ends. Once I was delivered from codependence, I was free from the ties that bound me. I began to feel like myself again. Before, there was this desperation inside of myself. When you're in an entanglement with a narcissist, there's this point where you believe, like, this is who I am now. This is my life. It's almost like this was always your life. You can barely remember life outside of the entanglement. I'm telling you, once you are out of the entanglement, your life comes back. You rebound. It's almost like, have you ever heard of muscle memory? It's like that. You're who you were before, and you can improve yourself. You can even be a better version of that. I feel this level of freedom. I feel like myself again. When I was pregnant and I had put on weight because I was pregnant with my children, I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. I always used to put on so much makeup because I would just feel so uncomfortable. I felt so disgusting. I couldn't stand it. Then when I lost the weight, when I had the kids, I was like, oh, I felt like myself again. It's like that with the relationship, the entanglement. You don't feel like yourself. You feel miserable and just uncomfortable. Once you lose the relationship, it is amazing. You snap back and you're a better version of yourself because now you know how bad things can get. You know the bad side of life, and you can now focus on the good side. This happens. It will happen to you too. The last one I want to talk about is make friends. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Narcissists don't want you to have friends because they don't want what's best for you. It's really as simple as that. My ex really had an issue with me having friends. And the thing is, he didn't say to me, he never said, I don't want you to have friends, or, told me, like if I told him I wanted to do something, he wouldn't say, oh, I don't want you doing that. I want you to stay home. He didn't say that. It was more subtle than that. It wasn't until later that I realized what the heck he was even doing. He would tell me, he would just start making me feel bad. So I shunned the relationships myself. So he would say things like, oh, did you see the way that she was looking at you? I don't think she likes you. She's really a friend of me. Oh, you want to go out with them? Well, I guess so. But, remember how they were looking at you when last time we were out with them? Like, he would always say that. It was always people were staring at me in some odd way. He made me completely paranoid. He made me feel like people didn't like me. So if you really believe that people don't like you, you're not going to make this big effort to be with them. You're going to be like, what the heck? These people don't like me. And it makes you feel self-conscious. That's what happened. So gradually, I just kind of shut down. I just stayed home and I was only with my ex. He was very happy to have that, but I ended up losing out. And then when things got really bad in my entanglement, it made it that much harder because I had no support. I didn't have support from my family. I didn't have any friends at all. Friendship is important to your well-being. Friendships bring so much into your life. They improve your mood, reduce stress and depression. They help you reach your goals. They bring you an inner peace. If you are with somebody that doesn't want you to have friends, it's a red flag. And it's not just, when I say that, I don't mean you should just take from friends. You giving, I've recognized in life that giving to other people actually brings you a lot of satisfaction. I think we're meant to do that. We're meant to give. I always feel like taking care of God's other children is the answer to life's problems. If you feel upset about something and you do something nice for somebody else, it really helps boost your mood. We're meant to be friends with other people. So don't lose a friendship. Don't lose any friendships because you're in a relationship. You're in a relationship and you can't have friends. That's not a relationship that you want to be in. For so many of us, we get into these entanglements and we have no idea until we wake up one day and realize we are in hell. That is terrifying. But once you're awake, everything can change. It's up to you. It isn't up to a miracle. It isn't hoping the narcissist will change. Only the truth, coupled with massive action, will redeem you from hell. Don't let fear hold you back. Fear needs to propel you forward. Let your anxiety chase you and motivate you. Be more afraid of not pursuing your goals. Sometimes in life, there are two bad choices, and that's reality. But you get to choose. Don't hold out for a miraculous third choice. That's locking yourself in prison. If you don't choose, someone else will. Decide which choice you're willing to suffer through, because it is always better to choose something on your own volition than let someone else choose for you. Essentially, pick your poison. I heard someone say once that it's better to find the dragon in its lair instead of waiting for it to come and eat you. If you find it first, you might find it when it's a baby and not a full-fledged, armed and determined monster. You're going to pay a price for everything you do regardless, and everything you don't do. You don't get to choose to not pay a price. You only get to choose which poison you're going to take. And today's video is about which poison to take. Be for yourself and your children the person they can turn to for strength. When there's a crisis, it won't be such a crisis because somebody can deal with it. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. In the end, you have a choice. Don't put a period where God put a comma. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helps somebody. Everything that I say in my videos are things that I have lived through. I know them to be true. Don't be afraid, I guess I shouldn't say don't be afraid. Don't let fear stop you, because whatever you do, something's going to happen. So at least have a say in your own life. Don't let somebody else control your life. You will live to regret it. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. God bless you all. I will see you in Friday's video. Bye, everybody.